I think
Okay.
it was 8. Oop.
Professional start as always. Thank you, Jay Fry.
My bad.
So, hey, it's Constantine. This is going to get awkward.
Son of a bitch.
Hi, everybody who may be or may not be watching, listening, or whatever. Welcome to Liberative Livecast yet again. We're going to talk Kilroy because I got to go this weekend, and I'm glad I stuck it out so I can give you all the dirty deets. I want to get a dissenting opinion on anybody who's got a bad take about Kilroy. I'd like to hear them. Maybe I can change your mind. Maybe not. Maybe you can change mine. We'll see. So today I've got with us Jay Fry as usual. Hi, Jay.
I didn't know we were going live. I apologize.
I told you I was pushing the button.
Yeah, but I thought you were lying.
And we've got Wolfie, who's our conscientious objector this evening. And we've got Raggle, Fraggle, and Constantine. Both of you chime in at the same time because that's about how that's going to work.
Because I have no opinion.
I'm here to make things awkward.
Excellent. Then this will go famously. So, what have you all heard about the Kilroy event? What is your general impression going in?
That there
Total
wasn't.
clusterfuck.
Thanks, Constantine.
You're welcome.
What he said. No, I didn't see very many people in attendance, and that was what was harped on mostly by Medicare. Jesus. And it kind of would have been funny if there was a couple of special rows of seating for like VIPs that had to be like roped off and no one showed up. That'd be kind of humorous.
Okay.
I did like the one thing I liked that I heard bitching about was how they went very informal with the instead of standing up to do the microphone and there's no one to talk over. So that you're just able to raise your hands and be called upon to ask the questions in the audience, like Q&A.
Yeah.
I thought that was a smart move, even though Medicare again bitched about that because Kilroy's still living rent-free in his head.
That most certainly was. Saturday for sure. I mean, all day Saturday. He watched the entire thing. I think he saw more of it than I did, and I was fucking there. So Saturday it was the Medicare bitch fest all day long on Twitter.
Yeah.
What was your take, Wolfie?
It definitely didn't look like what was originally talked about. When Dave and Base Mama originally kind of put a video out saying what they wanted to do, it just seemed not even close to what they originally talked about.
I think that's a fair assessment, honestly. I think they hyped it up as a shitlord VidCon 2.0, and it most certainly was not at all that.
Well, I mean, it doesn't help that almost everybody backed out that was originally going to go. So,
well, it was definitely plagued with problems. So I'm going to give you, this is my overall take of the whole thing. It was plagued with problems. They got them figured out for the most part, and they still managed to present an event that was worth attending and going to, was informative and entertaining, and surprisingly professional for what had ended up happening.
What happened on Sunday with all the Muzzies? Did they show up or not?
Nobody showed up. There was no protest whatsoever. And I think
the former Muzzies that were supposed to be the whole reason for the NDAs and everything.
Right. No, I didn't meet a single one of those people. I don't think they came.
Yeah, NDAs, that's right.
Well, there was the NDAs and then the non-competes. And the non-compete was the dumb one. NDAs, okay, so maybe most cons don't have them, but I can see the purpose of them because you don't want people to disclose stuff that may or may not be true or still in flux while you're getting it nailed down. But it was draconian, and then the non-compete was ridiculous.
How was Holiday able to 360 stream then?
Well, because all of that went by the wayside.
That's
See, and that's the problem. Like they
yeah,
should
exactly.
begin with, and then I think some of the people that had originally said that they would attend would have gone.
Well, I think that the fallout from the triple hit that the event took. I mean, let's face it. It took its first hit from Tim Pool and the NDA and non-compete nonsense. And he was right to do what he did. I think exposing that was probably the right thing to do because it was
Bullshit.
basically. Yeah. So
Power play controlling bullshit. Yeah.
right. So, when Mama took that on, she took it personally rather than as just what it was. It was a business decision on Tim Pool's part and airing, his reason for not attending. So if anybody that had bought tickets to go and he was just not going to go, and here's his reason for not going. So if you bought tickets because of him, you might want to rethink. Okay, whatever, that's fine. And then I think Tim Pool did himself and the event a huge disservice by coming back at the response videos to his stuff, and it got a little bit catty in between everybody. So then after that, the fallout with Base Mama and her inability to get everything nailed down the way it should, and being really hyper defensive hurt the
Running
event.
woman charge never goes well.
Well, it was still. Well, no, I shouldn't say that because.
Well, it never really helped either when you decide to change everything around that you originally said that you were going to do. That you told people who were backers what you were going to do, and then you completely changed it.
Right. Well, and I think that they could have been more upfront about it, and Raggle.
Sorry.
They could have been more upfront about it and just basically said, "Hey, listen, our original plans are we found to be untenable. We reached too far. We're gonna adjust and adjust our aim and hopefully we'll get on target again for something that might not be what we were originally going to hit, but we'll hit something that's worthwhile." But nobody ever stepped up, admitted fault, and chose to do that.
See, and that's kind of what prompted Mike and I to pull back and pull our money out. Is literally everything that you just said. If they had said, "Hey, we really overshot this. We had no idea that it would be, we would need to do this many things. So we're really going to have to change this." If it had been open and honest from the beginning, we would have been like, "Hey, we'll donate some money, but maybe not the $300. And we'll see what happens next year." But with all of the, I guess, I know it wasn't necessarily their plan to deceive people, but they did. So it really kind of, especially from my perspective, like, why am I going to give somebody $300 of my really hard-earned money when I'm not going to get what you promised and you didn't tell me?
What part of that? What part of that was the thing? I mean, she talked a huge game, yeah, but what part of that wasn't going to be seen through?
Well,
I get the NDA bullshit and all the other the power grabby bullshit, but what did she say that was going to actually take place that wasn't going to take place?
Well, on the website, they had speakers already on there that they hadn't signed contracts with, and who said, "Well, no, we haven't really spoken about a contract or anything like that," but yet they're on the website.
Because
they were going to go.
Right, but it wasn't formalized. There wasn't any formalization to it, and it was just word of mouth, which.
Well, no, it was on the actual Kilroy website. They never should have put people on that they hadn't signed contracts with.
Well, technically,
Baked Alaska.
Well, okay, so let's talk about the alt-right problem that affected Kilroy, because what had happened was there was I guess Mama was in talks with James Alsop, and he wanted certain things out of the conference that she couldn't give him. He demanded even more, and basically was going to run it as, you know, basically his thing on her nickel. And when she told him no, he wasn't going to get that. He could have X, Y, and Z and not, you know, the entire alphabet. He pitched a fit and pulled out, and that's when yet another round of shit hit the fan for the Kilroy event.
Well, and he's a little bitch too, so.
Well, that was a huge problem with all the little bitches. You had Andy doing his thing, you had Baked trying to do his thing, and all these little bitches like, hey Andy, you aren't funny. Why would you get a comedy panel? The closest thing you've done to comedy was a rap video, which was just awful.
Well, and
I don't know. He tried to pronounce John Locke right, and he got that pretty damn.
I like the writings of Loki, sir. Loki. Lokke. Fucking moron.
well, and I see, there's the thing too. They were trying to build this as two separate things. They were trying to say it's a free speech panel on the values of free speech, but at the same time, it was supposed to be VidCon 2017 2.0, which it could never be both. It really couldn't.
Yeah,
And then, yeah, Mama tried to squeeze in her whole, for some reason, huge. She wanted to plug in all these former Muslims, I guess. But that was really like her baby and not something that needed to be part of the con.
Well, I understand why she wanted to, just to have that diversity of opinion, because even as it turned out, there was some diversity of opinion, but the majority of the opinions were the left has gone off the freaking deep end and are swimming in the stupid juice. So you had Rucka Ali, who's a Randian objectivist of all things, talking with Wizard of Cause, who's, you know, was a communist
Alcoholic.
well, that too, and poll worker or whatever, so working for the parties, and then you have Jeff Holiday and stuff like that. So I mean, there was diverse opinion there, especially with like most of the quote unquote famous YouTubers against Roaming Mill, who was probably the most neocon person there. So there was diversity of opinion, but the overall feeling was we're being assaulted by the left and we have to do something about it.
Well, Jeff and Cause are leftists.
To a point, yes, but they're not like full-blown loony SJWs. I kind of wish Kevin Logan had showed up. I think that would have been a hoot, just to watch him get destroyed verbally.
Well, let's face it.
No, he just would have grumbled a lot. That's all. That's all he does.
What's that, Wolfie?
Jeff and his little minion just really aren't relevant anymore. They're really horrible people.
How do you figure?
Well, Jeff
Well,
was
I got-
doxing, you know, certain people.
Okay. But I mean, how does that contrast to somebody like Worski or Tonkasaw?
As far as I know, I don't think they've doxed anybody. They may talk shit, but you know. But you know, I'm like Jeff and the whole Mike thing about his own personal property, and that he's done with Mike. I think that's just ignorance.
I tried to engage Jeff on the topic of Mikey, and he wouldn't bite. So Mikey got under his skin. I mean, make no mistake about it. I don't even know what was said, but Mikey got under Jeff's skin.
For just for the reason he posted a picture. That's the Jeff went off the deep end. And you know, Mike was really behind Jeff back when the whole doxing issue came up and everybody was shitting on Jeff. And Mike was totally like, man, Jeff is my guy, I'm gonna stick beside him. But now that's completely different. Jeff totally was out of line.
Yeah, okay. I mean, I don't want to invalidate anybody's take on these people.
I mean, to say you're done with somebody over a flag. I mean, over a picture of a flag. Like, to me, that's ignorant.
Well, again, he's hypersensitive to
Yeah.
to some things. What was funny is Nick actually made the joke during a panel of academics, please respond, just throwing it right in Jeff's face.
That's really funny.
So I mean, that's technically his co-host and good buddy still picking on him for the stupid shit that he did. So I mean, it's not like he's getting a pass. He just has to cop to the stupid shit that he did.
Yeah, and saying that you're no longer friends with somebody, especially on the internet, that's so lame. Like, grow up.
Well,
Jesus.
okay. I mean, that's
I'm not friends with anyone anymore.
I'm
So
not gonna
what flag did
friend
Jeff
anymore.
and Mikey get fight over anyway?
the Kekistani flag.
Mike was making a joke about 420, things that are green that he's gonna burn. And Jeff got butthurt because Mike said he was gonna pick a stand flag. When in reality, he's not going to. It's a joke. And Jeff got butthurt. So,
Uh, to be fair, holiday's not very relevant anymore. So
no, and I feel the same way. So
Well, what do you mean by he's not relevant? Like, who is relevant?
well, I mean let's face it. I mean, a lot of the skeptic community, if you want to call it that, it's just rehashing a lot of the same old shit. Even Sargon's.
No, and that actually all came up pretty much at the jump of the convention. Everybody was like, we've said what we've all said, and we're having to find new stuff to say because we've rehashed this. You can't really come out with an edgy anti-feminist argument anymore because everything's been said. I mean, the points have already been made. So how do you reinvent yourself and what do you do?
And Jeff's answer was a talk show with a big black dildo.
Jay's right. That was one of his answers. The second one was he does this. He's going after the pseudoscience guys again, which he was doing before, which isn't going to get him any, kitty clicks. So it's his passion. So let him do it. Sure. Whatever.
I don't know. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, go ahead. I
was just gonna say, I think Holiday should maybe do something, I don't know, relevant to Burning Man, since that's one of his big deals.
Yeah, I can't really say. I mean, I met the guy, and I'm glad I did because you get a different opinion of somebody when you
actually meet him. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I mean, I actually came out of this with a lot more respect for Matt Jarbo, which is a weird thing to say because I don't really agree.
I mean, it's not hard though.
It was low to begin with. You're right.
It was a low bar.
But I found he was the most engaging of all of the YouTubers there.
So did Bunty just shake your hand? Is that all he did?
We talked for a couple of minutes. Yeah, I mean, we were going to go to lunch, but then he got a better offer from roaming, and I don't blame him.
Yeah,
roaming too. But yeah, so what happened is that after all the fallout, and then whoever the second gal that tried to take over for Base Mama was, I don't even remember her name. She got into her own shit stew with everybody. So the guys from the Mythicist Milwaukee stepped up, and they kind of did the logistics of this. So it ended up being for however small it ended up being, it was still really professional and really well presented, and it was handled really well.
that's good. At least that portion of it came out okay.
Right. So I think that. I mean,
$300 worth of well.
Well, if we could just see, okay, let's go. If we're going to bring that up, so not only were we going to spend $300 just on our tickets, but to go from here to Phoenix would have cost us thousands of dollars for
That's
a car and stuff like that. That's not just chump change that we can throw away on something that we don't know anything about.
Yeah, we are talking with a guy who it literally happened in his hometown. So
Yeah.
his
I'll totally cop to that. I will say two things about that. Number one, they changed the venue because of some more fallout from like the anti-Sargonites and the Allsup group. They went not only after the event, they went at the original venue, which was downtown Phoenix. And they caused enough of a ruckus that that venue wanted to charge so much more for security that they ended up going to what is really a much better resort, ultimately, to have the event. And I'll be damned if you find anybody else that came to this thing from out of town. I bet you dollars to donuts that they will say that the rooms were awesome. The facility was kick-ass, because it really is. It's a really nice resort that they ended up at. And in talking to Mama, she says, if we do this again, if this becomes a thing, they're going to do it at that resort from here on out, because that resort was much more accommodating, even through when they went to him and said, hey, listen, here's what happened at our original venue. So expect these kind of calls from these kind of assholes trying to disrupt our event.
Yeah.
Hey, and that's
Well-
good. I'm glad that, that ended up good and ended up okay for them. I certainly don't wish any ill will on any of it or any of them, because I know that's something that's a really hard thing to put together. But I, personally, I just couldn't justify spending that kind of money, anything with a comma.
No, I actually agree with you and Mike. I think that you guys pulling out was probably the right decision for you guys. I don't begrudge you that at all because of that extra expenditure. I still think you guys would have had a great time.
Truthfully, we still want to come out there and see you. We would love to do that. We would still love to do that.
Well, that'd be great.
that $300 though, Wolfie, that was tickets, right?
Yeah,
And just for the event.
It was VIP tickets.
Ooh, what's that? Well, you wouldn't know because it didn't happen.
Well, that would have gotten you to the after parties on Friday and Saturday.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what's the
basically all
tweet
that
of where they were at?
I didn't go to the party on Saturday, but I stuck around pretty late on Sunday to shoot the shit with people and stuff like that.
How nice were Roaming's bodyguards?
Funny you should ask. She originally didn't have any.
She got volunteers.
Well, she got one really zealous volunteer that they actually had to go out and get an armed security for.
I will die for you, my lady.
Okay.
Take this token of my affection if I shall fall in battle.
And so, I mean, it was handled. That was just for her. I think for her peace of mind. I didn't get to talk to her about it, and I wouldn't even brought that part up if I had, because she doesn't know me from Adam. But I think that was just for her comfort more than it was necessary, because pretty much everybody at the after party at on Saturday, all the guys and the staff that were working there were like, okay, let's go talk to this guy and basically say, all right, dude, we're happy you're here. We're happy you get to see Roaming. She doesn't know you. You don't really know her. Just back off.
She doesn't want your ear. Take a step back, Van Gogh.
No, Steven, unless you're looking for a 50 to 60-year-old a dude. I mean, they were in good shape for being 50 to 60 years old, but they were basically elderly security guards.
They had experience.
Well, I got a question for you, Sean.
Seasoned, yeah.
Did they allow concealed carry there at all?
There was. I'm gonna have to say, if they didn't disallow it.
Did they
All
check?
right.
But it was discouraged.
I wouldn't even say it was. It was just left open. The facility didn't have any signs posted saying you couldn't. So Arizona law defaults to, if it's not posted and it's not a bar, you can carry.
Go for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I I'd probably carry anyway, but that's
which I'm sure that the whoever they got for security for roaming, they got a huge black dude that ended up, and I think that's who they pulled in for her. I don't know if he was carrying or not, but I was told that he was more than the normal security. Oh, let's just leave it at that.
so he was armed. Okay.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and I don't know if that's true or not. I can't say. I just know that there was a third security guard day 2.
Right.
So, well, and not only that, but they also had somebody assigned to Susanna Hoff Summers. She got escorted everywhere by security, which,
Well, that was because of how she started her trip. She was
yes,
supposed to be doing paperwork, and instead she just attacked people on Twitter. It was hilarious. That was the best day of her Twitter I've seen in a long time.
and then it's so funny. She's sitting there at the con. She's like, I don't ever attack anybody on Twitter. I try to be nice and just have conversations. I'm like, all right, yay for you.
Vicious. She's vicious Thursday or Friday. Hot. Like she had like several little cups of wine on her flight, apparently.
Yeah. So there were some people that came in from California that were just attendees. There was a guy that came in. I don't know where he's based. As a truck driver came in. And then each of the YouTubers had like 2 or 3 people of their personal fan base. And then, so I mean, it was kind of a mixed crowd. There was probably 150 attendees, which isn't much, but for year 1 of any con, 150 people is actually not bad as far as attendance goes.
That's $15,000-$15,000. How were the people? The attendees themselves. Aside from that one crazy guy.
They weren't rebel rousers, were they?
No, not at all. I mean, you definitely had some fanboys. There was definitely a contingent of them, and I mean, fanboys for like everybody. So there was, people that came for Jeff. There were people that came for Nick. There were people that came for Matt. There were people that came for roaming. There was people that came for Rucka, of all things. So and Repsion was there, and a couple of dudes I had never heard of. They're younger. So there was some fanboy stuff going on. It was very interesting. There was kind of a a social strata of weird internet nerds versus professional types. I hope to God I was perceived as the second group. I really do.
Not in that picture with Bunty. No.
Right. But yeah, it was kind of stratified like that. I think that, again, this is the problem of billing it as 2 different things. Billing it as a YouTube, sort of meet and greet VidCon surrogate, and as something, topical on pertinent issues of the day and your rights, was a weird mix. I mean, they made it work, but it was just a weird mix.
Well, I think we just have to admit that Kilroy, we don't know what it is yet. It's his first year. It was a very simple idea. It needs to develop. I think that's its biggest problem right now.
Yeah.
Making sure that you're very open and clear about what it's going to be.
Well, yeah, and I think part of the problem was that you can't cater to a bunch of people that you're never going to make happy, no matter what.
These people should know better than to say, well, I'm just going to make this all about me and screw you. They should know better than that.
I agree. But I think, and here's where this is going to get interesting, and I don't know how tight that this niche is, how this relationship is going to work. But the guys from Mythicist Milwaukee were incredible. I mean, I'm not even an atheist necessarily. And I really, after seeing, Sargon go at that Smith guy at their con last year, I was like, I don't know that I ever want to go to an atheist conference because I don't want to run into Christy Winters and fucking Steve Shives. Let alone this
I
Smith.
do.
You would love to run into Steve Shives, and you know it.
As long as I'm behind the wheel.
There would be a fight.
He
It
would.
would be bad.
No, he would curl up into a ball and cry. You know it.
Well, no, I mean his wife would fight.
Oh, fuck.
I mean, to be fair,
It just got real.
I don't know if she hit me first would work with the cops, but it's a strong contender, especially if you got video footage.
But
I
yeah, so
sent
those
a
guys were great.
PPO. I sent a PPO to Steve Shives, and somehow he blocked my attorney. I don't know how that worked.
Yeah, so I think if they partner that and kind of like run 2 tandem events where like the Mythicist guys do their atheist con or whatever in Milwaukee, and then there's the Kilroy staff that could make something, a little bit different that's not necessarily focused like that. Josh,
What?
Come on, dude.
Food is great.
Really? Really, Garrick?
I had to.
I listen to you peel half a dozen fucking Werther's originals, and you're gonna go, motherfucker. So, holy shit.
So okay, let's talk roaming because she was an interesting anomaly to this event. She was besides Christina Hoff Summers, roaming was definitely the most professional presenter there. And for whatever reason, Christina Hoff Summers is really like go with the flow, and she really adapted well to reading the room and playing it. And then I think roaming was, not that she's bad at it because she certainly isn't, but she got way more attention from everybody than she was probably comfortable with.
Well, that should be interesting because she's also attending MythCon, and that'll be a weird one because they're all like the whole point of MythCon will be MythCon versus the Atheism Plus, but also here's a Christian Asian chick. So
Well,
we
that's
got her
why.
as well.
I mean, and talking to the Mythicist guys, they want that diversity of opinion. They want people coming in and giving that point so that they can, have the debates. I mean, otherwise you're just sitting there listening in an echo chamber, and who cares?
Okay, so were there any actual debates there?
Debates? No, not really.
Yeah, I was gonna say don't talk about a shouting match.
Yeah, there was a game that we all played where we were, and it was supposed to be debating, but basically what it was is everybody just shooting the shit and making obscene comments about stupid debates like traditional wings are boneless,
So like Twitter in real life.
pretty much. And
Yeah.
it was
Pop-Tarts and raviolis, guys.
and I'll tell you what, it really worked in that environment because there was so few attendees. Everybody kind of, kibitzed in, and it wasn't a huge melee. It wasn't a hot mess, and it really kind of worked. Okay, Stephen, let's and roaming is strikingly attractive. Like really attractive, but she's also Asian, so she's rail thin and petite.
She's part of that HAPA group.
Yeah. So I went in there thinking she was a 9. After seeing her in real life, she's like an 8.5 because she's too skinny for my tastes. But that's just me. But I'll tell you, so last night I told Stan during the live stream of Matt's show, I was going to go and have a drink with roaming, just to tweak Stan a little bit. And so I went over to the bar, but She's at a table with, you know, 2 or 3 of the other presenter guys, but she's literally 3 rows deep of fanboys around the table. I'm like, I am not even going to try to get into that mess. Because nothing is weirder than some ghouls standing around just kind of staring at you while you talk.
That's pretty much what happens to women all the time. You kind of get used to it.
Yeah, that's my jam right there. I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm like, I would have loved to have a chat with her for 5-10 minutes or whatever. I just didn't see a way in that was going to not be like, hi, you know, I just, no.
You don't smell like fish heads at all. I was expecting something different.
But yeah, so I mean, that's pretty much the tale of the tape. I think ultimately it was a worthwhile experience. I could see where spending that kind of cash, Wolfie, is not something you and Mikey wanted to do. I gotta say, I'm a little disappointed with how much Mikey kind of went at it along with Jim on Saturday. I mean, that kind of.
Yeah, but you gotta understand, Mike. Mike is Mike likes
Black.
to. Yeah, he likes to shit on things. He likes to make people. He likes to get under people's skin and aggravate people, just to provoke. Like that's, you know, I mean, that's Twitter. Let's face it. That's Twitter every day, and you know, that's just him. You know,
No,
and I think he maybe. Like, I would emote better than him, but I think that's kind of him taking out his aggravation on what, you know, the perceived deceit that we were experiencing with the whole thing.
Yeah, I kind of sense a little butthurt in there as well.
You know, not necessarily just butthurt, but just, you know, we were totally gung-ho about this. We were ready to support everybody, to go there and you know, do this whole thing, do it up really big. But then,
well, yeah, that was the butthurt I was talking about.
well, yeah, you know, then
Well, disappointment, really, but it's like blaming yourself for the disappointment.
Yeah, well, I will fully say I had the advantage of being local to it, so my $150, I let it ride, and if nothing had come of it, it would have been out $150, which sucks. But
it was totally worthwhile for you being there, so that's, you know, that's a plus. And you know, maybe in a future date, if it does become something, we'll possibly consider it when it becomes a little older, a little more organized, and you know, something like that.
Hopefully some lessons were learned. I had a Jew buddy go, and I had to put it in that order, Jew buddy. He went full hog once everything was in place. He bought the tickets, scheduled the flight in advance, you know, discount, Jew, like I said. And he ended up going, and apparently he was so happy with it, he bought some fucker lunch. You know, that's
yes, and it was a good lunch.
Yeah, I mean, it's not just any place in Arizona you can get the smear of lox and bagels and whatnot.
Or a Jew to actually buy you lunch.
Yeah,
he was reimbursed. I'm telling you. But where'd you guys go?
Aunt Chilada's, which is just a Mexican joint right there on the property.
On the property?
Yeah,
Nice.
there's two really good restaurants on the property. They're spread out because the resort is freaking enormous. But yeah, there's a Mexican joint, and then up on the top of the hill, there's a cowboy kind of like steakhouse restaurant that's really good too. But I didn't go there because I think they all went there Friday night. But there was some mess up at the beginning. There's no doubt about it. I mean, everybody's right on that criticism. They were not organized Friday night. They just weren't. For registration, yeah, registration was a hot mess. I was there at 5. Well, I was there at 4:30 because I was running errands, and then they weren't set up at all, and I had to leave at 5:30 to go meet a friend for dinner. I got back at 7:30, And apparently they had set up and then broken down and left, and there was no information anywhere on it. So I was a little hot under the collar and not feeling good Friday night, but I showed up early Saturday morning, and honestly, everything Saturday went really freaking smooth, other than Jim kibitzing about it all day long.
Yeah, but they have to have something to shit on. These guys on Twitter, that's their whole shtick. They have to shit on something.
And I get it, but why are you picking on the cripple kid?
Well, I mean, who doesn't do that? I mean, let's face it. The whole thing about Twitter is nothing is off limits. So that's just my 2 cents about it.
I think that there's other things there that you could really shit on. And what's interesting is apparently, and I haven't watched the stream yet, but Matt Jarbo went back after everything on Saturday and did an hour-long live stream, and I guess Jim got on that with him because Jim didn't utter a peep on Sunday.
Yeah, they actually had a decent conversation. Jim was a nice guy. Him and Matt had a really good conversation. So.
Yeah, I got to go back and listen to it. Yeah, well, he told me about that when I asked him to unmute me.
I have got to meet James Woods.
Yes, you do. It's all it takes, man. Ask nicely. Does anybody else have any questions or anything they're curious about the event?
So no ball pit?
We all got here. Hang on a second. I'll find my ball pit ball. I don't know how good my lighting is, but I'll show you the ball
your
pit
wife's purse, I believe,
ball.
with the other 2.
So I have to ask, how was Bunty? That's absolutely cool.
Yeah, that's the ball pit ball. Everybody got a ball pit ball. Just because they're making fun of what was it, DashCon, where the ball pit thing was. Yeah. So we got these balls. It's kind of funny. With the limited budget they ended up with, there wasn't a whole lot of swag to give out. So, other than photos of people and ball pit ball. How was Bunty? Bunty ended up basically being a producer of this thing, which was weird. He was running around making sure all the mics were done. He was running panels. He was introducing guests. He interviewed Christina Hoff Sommers. He's an odd character. He's hard to get a read on because, again, he got booted out of Twitter again today for God knows what. I don't understand how anybody finds him controversial.
You'd be surprised. Even people say that I'm controversial, and I'm probably the nicest person on Twitter. So.
Pretty much.
Steven's asking if Matt Blonde Sticks would get invited and more would get invited next year. There was, from my understanding, an open invite. Sticks was supposed to be here, and the part of the sell, especially for me, was I get to see Sticks and Razor Fist in the same room. And we
were totally excited about that.
And I was gonna try to see if we could find Alice Cooper and put them all in the same room and get a picture of all 3 of them together and blow the world's mind.
Yeah, but nobody had a shovel to find Alice Cooper.
I was gonna say, where's that fossil at?
Originally Sargon was supposed to come and Dave, and I think that. Honestly, I think one of the major blows to this that nobody recognized was the fact that when Dave Cullen pulled out, for whatever his reasons were, that really hurt the event.
I think that's when his mom got sick and passed away.
Yep.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, but I mean.
Yeah, I have to say, it did kind of go downhill from there.
So.
I just heard Warriors. Can you dig it?
Yeah, that's my text notification.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Should be Warriors come out to play.
I don't like that guy. I like the Can You Dig It guy a lot better.
Well, yeah, but it's the beer bottles that make the noise. It's
fantastic.
True.
Yeah, that's kind of cool. Do you think anyone that bailed this year would attend next year? Yes, Stephen, I do. I think that you're going to see, and depending on how they approach it. They'll get some more professional YouTubers, hopefully. Again, Sargon, although his professionalism has dropped off precipitously this year. Hopefully Dave will come back. I think that would be a huge sell if Dave Cullen came back. And maybe they'll pull some different and bigger names. I would love to see Matt and Blonde there. I don't think Blonde would ever come, but Matt might be coerced, I think, and I think he would do really well in an environment like that. Get on a panel or something.
Blonde wouldn't do a live event.
Right.
No, she'd probably melt.
Well,
Yeah.
the weather was great. I mean, the weather held out. Normally, this week it was like 99 today, which good day for it to get hot. It was nice and breezy and cool all weekend.
No, I meant like a meltdown, but yeah, that's fine too.
Oh, that too. She's made of porcelain.
I gotta ask. I'm not particularly interested in Kilroy. I was interested when Styx was going. I found a roaming and Christina Hoff-Sommers went, so that was cool. But do you think one of the problems is there's too many extremes, and Christina and roaming were kind of centered, and that was about it?
I wouldn't call roaming the center. She was
closest thing to.
Actually, trying to think of who else was there that was presenting that would probably be more center than roaming. Roaming and Christina were definitely the most professional as far as presenters. Everybody else kind of winged a lot of it, which was fine. I mean, they brought a guy in who was just a fan who opened the thing from LA, like a drama teacher, and he was animated and had a lot of energy for it. But yeah, he was pretty good. I mean, it was really an eclectic group. I can't even say Christina Hoff-Sommers is probably the most centrist.
Holy shit. This has nothing to do with anything, but you guys were boring, so I ran onto Twitter. North Yorkshire Police. It's a certified account, North Yorkshire Police.
Oh, I saw this.
The top tip, if you want to stay out of trouble, don't do what this driver did and swear at our mobile safety cameras while driving past it in a car fitted with a laser jammer. Today, he begins 8 months in jail for perverting the courts of justice. He's serving 8 years for not wanting to be recorded on camera and flicking off a camera.
I would so not
Wait,
be able
8 years or 8 months?
in the UK.
8 months. 8 months.
I would seriously, I would be the fuck the police guy in the UK. I would seriously be beating up cops
At this point, yeah.
breaking cameras.
Oh, did you
At
guys
this point,
see
they're traitors in my eyes.
Yeah, but you can't beat a cop up and get a gun from him. That's the shitty part.
Reason not to renew your passport.
Well, did you guys see the whole? There was a picture of. It was from. I think it was in Scotland. It said police drone flying in this area to keep you safe. West Midlands police are using drones to capture criminals and help keep you safe. That's not creepy at all.
We actually had out here we had to have like legislation discussed about people that were shooting down cop drones.
Same here in Texas.
They were literally going out with their shotguns and I don't think so. Blast and just blasting it out.
You're in
To be
Texas.
fair, it deserved it.
Yeah, that's target practice.
Like, man arrested for shooting down drone, texted police department, pull. That was just absurd. So we got to Bunty. Now we got to cover Bunty's suspension from Twitter, along with
No,
Sky
I
Williams.
thought he was fully banned.
Oh yeah, he is his band as well.
Yeah,
as long as,
they killed that account.
yeah. So up next, JBP for saying clean your room. It's going to be deemed
A dog whistle.
what's it called? Domicile phobic or something. Insensitive to those on Twitter without homes.
Yeah, and well, yeah, just like mess bigot.
Good freaking God.
Now, I'll tell you what, maybe next, if they could get somebody like a Jordan Peterson, or better yet, and the Mythicist guys were talking about this, they want to get Steven Pinker, which I think would be great. Get David Rubin and Steven Pinker to go to the next Kilroy, and you're going to have yourself a hell of an event.
I don't even know who Steven Pinker is.
I'll be right back.
Or you could get the brothers, Brett and Eric Weinstein. That would be pretty awesome.
I don't know that they would do it. Brett might. I don't think Eric would.
Yeah, probably.
Who's Pinker?
Pinker is another.
Oh, that writer?
No, well, he's a professor. He's the one he's the one who's out there with all the books are saying, you know what, crime is going down. You guys are living in the best time ever. I don't know why everybody's, up in a moral panic when everything's going really, really fucking good.
Yeah, well, yeah, he's that Jew professor who wrote about the alt-right, how they weren't all bad.
Right. Yes.
Yeah, okay. They are all bad. Stop it.
I don't know. I mean, I got lunch out of one.
No, the alt-right's what's all bad. Not the Jews. The Jews are also all bad. It's just
I did get a drink from an alt-right guy.
Who was that?
Just some guy attending. There was one guy. It was funny. There was a Rucka, or was it Rucka that gave the talk? No, it was a really animated guy out of LA who was talking about positivity of Western civilization and how Western civilization would always triumph because it's too tempting to not win. So this other guy that was in the audience was questioning me. He's like, yeah, but all that was created by Europeans, and Europeans are white. So, it's a race thing. And he was just going at it like this, race this, race that. I'm like looking at this guy. I'm like, dude, are you even white? Because you look kind of like you're a fat Mexican.
Oh, he probably bought you a drink because he thought that bald patch was a skin yarmulke.
It is a skin yarmulke, and it's drop dead sexy. Thank you very much.
I meant yarmulke.
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 Mm-hmm.
Yarmulke by John Loki. Those are sweet. Garrett, you wanted to talk
of
about
intellectualism.
Garrett, you wanted to talk about JBP on the House Nigga show?
Before we jump to that, I just want to ask if anybody knew about the. I guess it was Lauren Southern was tweeting about another car or truck crash, killed 8 or 10 people.
9 in Toronto.
It was 9. Okay.
Yeah.
Any developments on that?
16 injured. They got the guy in custody. He's got a name that seems to be Armenian, but they're not releasing any information. So everybody's speculating whether or not he's a Muslim, because of course he is.
So it is a truck apiece. Okay.
Yeah, pretty much.
I haven't really been able to follow this because most of my day was spent dodging a naked guy who shot up a Waffle House locally here. So congrats on
Yeah, they caught that guy too.
Yeah,
did they?
Yeah.
Okay.
But he's white and crazy, so his name and everything about him is all over the press because that's a white guy.
He is successfully crazy. His first outtake was going to a Waffle House in only a coat with an AR-15, and then he went home, redressed to only put on pants, and go out on the lam again. Holy shit, man! What a freaking wackadoodle!
Anybody know what he was smoking? Because I might need some of that.
No, he's actual certified crazy.
Oh,
But
okay.
we keep getting failed, not by the policies in place for gun enforcement and security, but by the people whose job it is. His guns were taken away, but not permanently. They were given to his father. His dad gave his guns back. That's not how crazy works. You take the guns, you keep the guns, especially after you go to court over it. But no, we're getting failed by the public that's supposed to, our public servants who are supposed to protect us.
Mm-hmm.
Josh, I've got you muted until you can figure out your background noise.
Enjoy your tacos.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
what to
Jay, I'm
think
not
about that.
sure. Yeah, Jay, I'm not sure I want to talk about JBT since Sean isn't caught up on it yet. Unless he's cool with
Oh,
No, go ahead. Yeah, I'll eventually get around to watching it.
it.
I
Okay.
will not.
Oh,
I hate Bill Maher. I hate Bill Maher.
I don't hate him. I do agree that the you shouldn't be politically correct. Other than that, I really do disagree with him a lot. As far as Peterson goes on Bill Maher, it was standard Peterson. I mean, he didn't say anything new. He was talking about his 12 Rules for Life book, and it was pretty good. It really pissed me off the Democrat, which is he a representative or a governor? I don't even know.
Oh, she was a.
No, not she. The guy, the old man.
Oh, he was a Seattle. Well, there was two guys there with white hair that were pretty old.
The one that's marked Democrat. He was.
Oh, he was the governor of Washington State.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I really hated it when he started saying that.
And the former.
Oh, I hated the fucking. Excuse my language.
Former.
I hated the guy from New York Times. Oh,
Yeah,
I wanted
well,
to punch him right in the face.
I could handle him. It's when the guy from Washington said that this generation is the smartest generation he's ever seen because they accept the gays and they accept intersectionality
Climate change
and all this
that bullshit.
climate change.
No. And I think
I-
you might have missed it. I think you might have missed it because
Okay.
I watched the full interview. There was a part in there with a New York Times guy where they were talking about the whole Donald Trump phenomenon and everything, and he's like, well, they're just, Trump's base, they're just not we need to bring them over because they're just not enlightened. Okay.
Yeah, how do you want to enlighten them?
I mean, by all means, enlighten. You are just further proving Peterson's point about alienating his base. You
Yeah.
fucking idiot.
We're not the ones shutting doors over here. I mean, shit, I'll talk to anybody, but if you can't handle my disagreement, I can't help you.
Exactly.
Well, that's the key difference between the right and the left. The right needs free speech because the ideas that come from the right suck. They're never fun. They're never enjoyable. They always suck. And that's why they need free speech because the left has all these great ideas that are so much worse. So they need to show, the right has to point out, like, listen, I understand that we're all at this party together, but if we could write our names on the cups, that way no one else is drinking out of anybody else's cups, and then we all would have fun. And they're like, that's a stupid thing to do. This is a party. We're all going to have fun. And then someone drinks from a spit cup, and everybody now has their name on the cups. It wasn't originally fun, but it happened, and now everybody's better for it happening. The left's ideas are so much worse that the right needs those ideas to compare them to so that they look better. But instead, the left has gone on a full-out war to silence us so that only their ideas are heard, and those are the only choices you have available.
Yeah.
No one wants to put back for retirement when they have money in their pocket.
Right. That would be the better option.
But that's a smart move to make. It's just a not fun move to make.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
But
like,
back to the governor thing. The thing that he said that really it just made me want to reach through the screen and strangle him was I could tell exactly what he was doing. He's either stupid for believing that these kids should be able to vote, or he's trying to manipulate voters to keep power, which is fucking infuriating. Pardon my French.
They definitely want to give younger people a vote because the younger people are stupid. Their brains aren't done cooking, and they think that their ideas are tenable. They don't have the ability to think them through. Jesus Christ, Josh!
I'm sorry. What do you want me to do about it? It's a chair.
WD-40, it's a thing, dude. Gun oil, nothing else.
Yeah, you have jars of gun oil. Apply some.
Shit some off.
Tears.
Contain yourself.
Fine.
JVP's next book, Oil Your Office Chair.
There, fixed. No more leaning back.
Oil your chairs, guys. It's that simple.
You
Just
got to
oil.
oil your chair, man.
Oil
Maintain
You
your
can't rescue
life.
your father from the depths of hell unless your chair is ready to go. I mean, come on. That squeaking's just going to give you away to the devil, man, and he's going to take your soul.
Pardon my French.
I mean, if you can't even oil your chair, man, how do you expect to run a society?
You have to admit, I brought a good source of entertainment, and I got Jay laughing.
There you go.
Lobster oil.
Fuck your oil, bro. Fuck it.
Fuck your oil, bro.
Oh, all right. This is devolving into not much. Anybody have any questions? Chat. You guys have any questions? Now's the time. Get it in there. Let's go.
Do 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 do.
I got to say, Wolfie, for our disagreement over Kilroy, I hope you and Mikey don't think lesser of me because I certainly don't think lesser of either of you.
No, absolutely not. We still have-
Oh,
Ah,
fuck.
he's so
Oh, I
Steven.
would definitely think fucking lesser
all
of Sean.
camera shit, those things, so.
I taking the effort to get unmuted by Matt. That's disappointing.
Well, no, he literally said something that jogged my memory because he was talking about how he got the when the YouTube shooting happened, people were out there and like pictures of the YouTube shooter and they put pictures of him up. And he kind of took that like sorely. And then Minding Freedom came out and was like, yeah, that's definitely defamation and that you could go to jail for that. You should go to jail for that. I'm like, not in America. It's comedy because it's absurd. And I pulled him aside. I'm like, man, I went at you hard on this because anybody who really thought that you could have been the YouTube shooter is absurd. And he's like, well, yeah, I can kind of see that. And then I just said, hey, by the way, can you unmute me? Because I know you've got me muted. I've said some things that there's no way you weren't going to bite on if you didn't have me muted. He's like, yeah, I can totally do that.
I just messaged him, you're fat. So let's see if I'm muted.
He would, I agree with that.
It didn't go through. Why didn't it go through? Am I blocked? What the hell? Oh, it stalled out. Never mind. Like, yeah, I happen to have mundane fat as my name for like a month. So say hi to me or something. So no,
I was a little jealous of your name there for a while.
no crazy hair stories. No one showing up looking like a E-rated celebrity with giant spectacles. Sunglasses.
Well, yes, Jeff Holiday. You know, he wore his Blair White glasses, pretty much all the time.
Yeah, but there's a pretty solid chance he was hungover. So.
He was hungover the entire. If he wasn't drunk, he was hungover. There's no doubt about that.
Did you just start sweating alcohol at some point?
Yes. Hang on a second.
Yeah, my brothers are heavy alcoholics, and they are also roofers. So when they are on a roof, they sweat like a white foam.
Gosh.
And I just picture Jeff with like a salt ring around his that it affects his tie. It's so salty.
No, he cleaned himself up good for his presentations and whatnot, and you know, liberally applied kitten smelling cologne. But yeah, he smells like whiskey and kittens.
I guess that's better than whiskey and trash. So
Yeah. So yeah, it wasn't nearly as bad as everybody would imagine it to be. There was one literally crazy dude there. I mean, just like oofty McGoofty nuts. He thought the con was about him. I don't know if that was the same guy that was given roaming crap or not. I don't know, but man, he was an odd being.
Speaking of the Tennessee Waffle House shooter, thought he was being stalked by Taylor Swift.
Oh, it's Jodie Foster all over again.
Mm-hmm.
Except he's not trying to impress Taylor Swift.
All right.
If
Well,
anybody-
nobody in the chat added anything for questions, so I'm going to go ahead and hit the button here, and we'll get out, and we can just shoot the shiz.
Mm.
All right.